Okay, so I just feel like saying a couple of things, and then I know it's been about a couple of weeks or so, and I just want to talk because I haven't been catching up with the news and what's going on because, truth be told, most of us, but especially me, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm pretty sure this goes for a lot of people. With this year and last year, a lot of things, a lot of shadow parts of ourselves that have not been dealt with. And it seems like shadow parts of ourselves, even from previous incarnations, honestly. And it seems like if it has not been dealt with, it's like it blew up. It blew up last year. It blew up this year, especially for me. It blew the heck on up. And I think it blew up because it's time for that reset. And it's time for us to deal with our shadow selves. Not that I haven't been dealing with mine, but I've been dealing with mine at a just kind of steadily, working and dealing with it and working, and it's, just like anybody else who would make it just a daily practice for like maybe an hour and a half or something like that of doing meditation, doing, just going within and all that stuff. But for me, because so much has gone on with me with childhood and so many rituals and so much abuse, it's beyond physical abuse. This is rituals, it's esoteric abuse, it's dealing with a lot of spirits from the underworld. So because I had to deal with that kind of abuse with a family that was a part of a cult, it was a lot. It was a lot. But I'm gonna get off of that. I just want to kind of talk about why I couldn't have been on, and I couldn't have watched all this stuff that people are paying attention to. I couldn't have done it. It was too much of myself to deal with in order that I could not put my attention on anything else. I couldn't focus on what anybody else was doing or who else was dying. I had so much. I was dying too. I was dead. Honestly, I was dead. Okay? I wasn't dying. I was dead because I don't believe in a physical death. So I died many times. I died so many times. Like, separation from yourself, and dealing with entities that fight me to make sure I don't rise up, And we deal with that every day. Sometimes you deal with that with your family members. It don't have to be no entities from lower dimensions that you see. You see that with family, you see that with friends, or you might see that with a spouse. They're fighting to keep you from rising up in consciousness. They're fighting to keep you from evolving. And they're fighting you. And this is what I've been dealing with. It's been kind of gruesome. It's been very graphic what I had to deal with. It's been very graphic. Very graphic. To the point I don't even want to say it's kind of nasty. And that's what I've been going through. That's just how dark my darkest self is and what I've been through. But I want to get on with the topic of what I want to talk about right now. Somebody talked about why does the world hate black people? Okay, I haven't been keeping up with Ukraine and Russia. Okay, and all this stuff. And the reason why is because I see they trying. The reset is coming. The reset is near. It has not happened yet because they keep trying to throw new stuff at you. And the fact they keep trying to throw everything in the kitchen sink and everything means that the reset is coming, but they haven't reset the clock yet. Meaning they haven't put people back to sleep yet. People are kind of waking up and they're not falling asleep as quickly as these so-called people that's running this system. People are not being rocked back to sleep as quickly as the folks that run this system want them to fall asleep. And so they keep throwing everything in the kitchen sink. And so that's the reason why I have not been paying attention to COVID. I have not been paying attention to this Ukraine and Russia. World War III and all this stuff and everything people want to post on this YouTube. And I'm almost kind of glad that I kind of gone through what I went through, even though it was terrible. I'm kind of glad because I don't need my attention on all that stuff. I understand people make YouTube videos, and I get that they make good videos. They put a lot of work in. They talk about what's going on and what's coming, and you better do this, and you better stock up, and better. I got to the point where those videos that keep telling me to skip, excuse me, Those videos that keep telling me to stock up and prepare and do this and do that, I can't watch that no more. Let me tell you why. I was going through something so dark to the point where I was constantly being separated from my soul. Like, it was a fight for my soul. I ain't got time for these people to hear them, because they can say whatever they want to say on their channel now. But I don't have time to let their messages bother me with this COVID stuff and what these so-called people that run this world, what they plan on doing. And you better stock up for at least 5 years or 20 years, or you better do this. Oh, gas, they running out of oil. I don't have time to hear that when I'm constantly fighting to keep these things from taking my doggone soul. I ain't got time to be worried about that, okay? I don't have time for it. So I stopped listening to those kind of, oh, you better get a garden. No, I'm fighting for my freaking soul right now. These entities keep trying to take it, okay? They keep trying to take it. I ain't got time to be scared over COVID. I ain't got time to be in all this fear, and there's nothing wrong with stocking up if you got the time and the money to do it. But if you fighting for your life every day, and when I say I'm fighting for my life, I'm talking about my soul, because I don't believe in the physical. Like I said, we have a physical mindset. We're in a certain rule set that make us feel like we're physical, and there's certain rules that give us those kind of senses, but we're not physical beings, okay? We're in I know it to be a virtual reality. Now, people call it a holographic world. It could have been a holographic world about 50 years ago, but right now it's a virtual reality. But because we keep being lied to and they keep setting the clock back, we could be stuck on thinking holographic reality when it's really a virtual reality, because I was hovering over CERN, which is a lot older than they make it look on media. That thing was covered in grass and it was buried on the ground. And I saw the shape of like that X of that cross. I saw the shape of the top of it, and I saw what grass was growing all over top of it, like it was old, like it had been there a while. And then when I was meditating so much, I popped out. It's almost like I popped out the computer, and I saw it. And that's what we're in. We're in CERN. That's why that's why they can reset you and put you to sleep. Anytime somebody can do a reset and put you to sleep, that means you in some kind of computer anyway. How can they do a reset, put you to sleep, and have you thinking it's 2018 again or 2000? How can they do that and you wouldn't even know the difference? You wouldn't know the difference because you're in the computer. You're in the computer. So I was forced to raise my consciousness. It's not that it wasn't raised, but it's some deep dark part of myself that actually attacked me. I mean, it came it looked like it came, it comes in like what looks like other people, right? It looks like other people are attacking you, but really it's me attacking myself, but it looks like other people because that part of myself needs to be raised up. I was already working on my consciousness and working on everything else, but that deep dark part of myself, I wasn't aware of how dark it was, and it was pulling me down to the point where I had to keep fighting for my soul. That's how dark it was and how it kept pulling me down. And that's why I stopped watching these channels about prepare. I ain't got time for that kind of some of it is fear mongering. Some of it I think they care, but a lot of that is fear mongering. Like, quit telling people to constantly prepare. Okay, we get it. You don't have to keep telling me to prepare. We get it. And they say, well, I'm just trying to wake you up, and you guys say, well, just say what you got to say, right? Some of these people on YouTube. Say what you got to say. If people going to prepare, they're going to prepare. It's like no need in getting upset that everybody ain't doing what you say the minute you make a video. Like, say what you got to say. Stop getting mad at people. Everybody going through something. I personally ain't got the time to be doing all this stuff these folks saying. If I'm fighting for my soul, you better make sure you get your freaking soul before you get some food for a year. And you need to learn how to manifest food anyway, because we're not physical beings. So we need to be evolving past the physical reality anyway, so we don't have to be all worried about this COVID mess. Okay, so we need to be evolving beyond that too. Talking about getting some food for a year, we need to learn how to manifest it without the physical food. That's what we need to be doing. Well, that's what I need to be doing, because my true self already told me that's what I need to do. Okay, we are beyond just some physical beings. We can teleport, we can do a lot of stuff, but we've been so stuck in the physical mindset for so long, and that we think that that's all we can do, and we can do so much more than that. Okay, But okay, so let me get it because I don't delay, but maybe that needs to come out. So somebody wanted to know why was black people so hated. And I was listening to a lady do a reading. I like her. She like throws shells. I know you know who I'm talking about. And she made a good point. That a lot of black people around the world are sitting on a lot of resources and they're not doing anything with it. That is so true. That is so true. And I'm going to tell you something. I am not a religious person. When I say I'm not a religious person, I'm not into man-made rules. But I am not anti-scripture if you understand how to interpret it the way real occultists know how to interpret the scripture. You would not be anti-scripture if people understood how to interpret it. A lot of these major occultists and Kabbalists use that scripture because they understand it more than people who just go to church and listen to somebody put some mess in their ear, right? So, and there's a part in the Bible that talks about the wicked servant or whatever, about how he was, I can't remember no more, but he was given a certain amount of money or whatever, and all he did was bury it and didn't do nothing with it. That's what the Africans are doing. Not Africans, but black people, period. All he did was bury it. And then when the master came back to see which each person did with it, one person just said, well, I buried it because I was afraid. I buried it because I was afraid that I wouldn't have anything left, so I just buried it. So they didn't flip it into anything else. Okay, like say if they had $5, they could have flipped it into $10. They didn't do that. They buried it out of fear that they was going to lose that $5. And they buried it. And that sounds like what the black people around the world are doing. And then you had another servant said, well, yeah, you gave me $1 and I made $2. Oh, good. And then another one, I think, flipped it about 5 times and like, oh, yes, you. Now, this is what, I hate to say it, but this is what the white people are doing around the world. They flipping it 5 times. I get that they're wicked. We can say they're wicked. We can say that they slaughter humans, they slaughter people, they kill babies. We can say they do all those things. But it seems like a major force is giving them permission to do all these things because this group of people, which are black people around the world, are sitting on major resources and they're not even flipping it to even benefit their own people, right? We get, okay, yeah, you sit on your resources. Okay, yeah, you're not going to give all your stuff to China or somebody else who's going to take it from you, but they're not even flipping it to benefit their own land, to benefit their own people. So what the problem is that black people around the world allow their own people to suffer and sit on resources. And they let some other man come that's from another patriarchy and say, well, give me this and I give you that. And they take trinkets and give them tons of resources and nonstop wealth from their land to take some trinket to feel good for a day. And this is what black people around the world have done. And so I feel like, and these people, whether it's China, whether it's Europeans or whoever it is, have been given permission from a force that's more powerful. They have been given permission from a very powerful source to annihilate black people around the world. Because black people are non-productive. You sit on all these resources, you sit on wealth, and they don't even do enough to help out their own children. They don't even do enough to help out their own women. And women suffer because they keep giving birth to children that are not productive when these children grow up. And women suffer too. Why are they giving birth? Why are they not choosing out a pedigree? Even if you sleep with a white man or Asian man, that child, I don't care how mixed they are. People are always worried about these bloodlines and mixing of the bloodlines. Let me tell you something. You're giving birth to a productive child when you give birth, I hate to say it, when you have baby with a European man that's productive, more than likely you're going to give birth to a productive child. And I hate to say it. Or an Asian man, because we're talking about patriarchy. So I'm not trying to get on putting down men. We're in a patriarchy. And that's the reason why I'm saying men like that, because we're in a patriarchy. But men need to be choosy in who they getting pregnant to. They need to choose for pedigree too. They don't need to be letting just any old woman carry their child in their womb for 9 months, because they need to be concerned about what's going on within that woman too, because that determines how that child could come out. and it can affect them for the rest of their life. So men need to be just as choosy as women. But because it's a patriarchy, that's the reason why. Because it's a patriarchy, that's the reason why I'm saying that black women around the world will give birth to more productive children if they have, I hate to say it, but I'm telling the truth, because black people are being slaughtered and annihilated, and these people have been given permission to kill black people. Nothing's going to happen to them. People come, they're not going to get theirs, because black people are unproductive. That needs to be understood. And the black women are too. Because why are they continually giving birth to children for thousands of years and thousands of years? They keep giving birth to children who are unproductive. Black women suffer for not being smart about what they carry in their womb. They should be smarter. Even if it's from a white boy. If you're giving birth to a productive white child, whether it's a white woman or white male, but I have to say a lot of black women are productive, but for some reason, black women around the world give birth to these sons that do not seem to be productive. They do not seem to be like other patriarchs. And black women around the world suffer for giving birth to sons because the black women around the world seem to be productive. I'm not just talking about no black American women, and I understand people to have things they want to say about black American women and how they can be and women of the matrix. I'm not really talking about that. You look at black women around the world, whether it's Africa, whether even in black America, other places, you see black women really are productive, even if they going out and hunting food for themselves, or they carrying these pots on their heads or whatever. Like I saw in Ghana, where these black men in Ghana were like all fancy with their fancy clothes on and they name brand clothes, and the women were carrying pots on their head like they were doing all the work. And black women suffer. Why give birth to a man and you don't want them to be productive for their lands? You're not giving birth. You're giving birth to them, and it's not like you're not giving them a standard to be like other patriarchs, like China, like the Arabs. Even though they like in the Middle East, they can be very abusive to their women, and so can China. But still, we're under a system where under a patriarchy, a so-called patriarchy, which is really, to me, still a matriarchy, a toxic matriarchy, and the men are pushed to the forefront to make it look like it's patriarchy. So I'm just gonna call it a patriarchy. And even though those men are abusive to their women too, very, very bad, they still utilize their resources to the fullest. They utilize their resources to the fullest. And the black patriarchs, okay, are not doing that. They seem to be sitting on it, and they're allowing their own mothers and women and children to suffer while they just sit on all this wealth in this land. And that's why these people can come and rape Africa the way they're doing. Okay? So, yeah, I think that's all I got to say. I don't think I have anything else. I don't want to repeat myself because I'm trying to not be stuck in a reset. So if I get repetitive, that's a good indication I get stuck in a reset. But anyway, that's all I got to say, and I'll talk later. All right.